ठीक है. So yes, these are the tests that we have to do when we're managing or presented with the patient of strabismus. Okay, any kind of strabismus of sorts. So how do you think we should treat this patient? कैसे ट्रीट करेंगे इस पेशेंट को?
नॉर्मल आई को कवर कर देंगे, मतलब पैच से.
तो पैचिंग, ठीक है, पैचिंग कर लेंगे. और क्या करेंगे?
ऑप्टिकल
और
करेक्शन.
एक्सरसाइजेस बताएंगे.
ठीक है, एक तो आवाज आई थी ऑप्टिकल करेक्शन, दूसरी आवाज क्या आई है?
एक्सरसाइजेस.
ठीक है, एक्सरसाइजेस फॉर द आई. ठीक है, और व्हाट एल्स कैन वी डू?
सर्जरी.
सर्जरी कर सकते हैं. और क्या करेंगे?
क्लासेस अगर कंप्लायंस है.
Classes like compliance, yes, classes देंगे, that will come under the heading of optical correction.
Optical correction.
Classes. All right. What else can we do?
Atropine in the normal eye.
Normal eye. ठीक है. Atropine. Normal eye. ठीक है, और क्या करेंगे? Modalities, anything you can think of. बता दो.
बस यही 5 है.
यही 5 हैं? क्या 5 हैं?
ये जो थी ट्रीटमेंट.
ठीक है. ऑप्टिकल करेक्शन. ठीक है. So these are all of the modalities, different modalities which we can use. तो जो याद रखने वाली चीज है ना इनमें से, I'll simplify this into 4 O's. So whenever the treatment is asked, आपने वो लाजमी लिखते हैं. जो algorithms and the management, all of that is secondary. If you don't have time in the examination, if you don't have time in the viva, आपसे कोई लंबी डिटेल पूछो, you have to remember 4 things. Number 1, optical correction, the first one. Second, occlusion. इसको हमने पैचिंग कहा. The third is orthotics. Orthotics क्या होती हैं? क्योंकि पता है.
एक्सरसाइजेस होती हैं.
Yes, these are exercises, but these are different than exercises. Okay. Orthotics exercises नहीं होती. Orthotics are basically techniques or exercises in the sense that they're not extraocular muscle exercises. They are techniques which are used to improve the binocular vision. ठीक है, using a synaptophore. यानी कि दोनों में images दिखाना, lights दिखाना, that sort of stuff. मतलब it's done to improve binocular vision. These are not necessarily exercises of the eye. ठीक है, ये extraocular muscle वाले exercises नहीं है जो pencil से करते हैं. These are not those. ठीक है. So orthotics. And the fourth is ocular surgery. Ocular means eye surgery or extraocular muscle surgery. ठीक है. These are the things which you have to remember when you're writing down the treatment of it. These 4 O's are crucial. Optical correction, occlusion / patching, orthotics for binocular vision, and finally ocular and extraocular muscle surgery. But if you write down this, if you मतलब अब वाइवा में टाइम कम है और यही चीजें पूछी जाती हैं, but the treatment of squint, or if you have an SCQ, if you write this down, this should suffice. This is more than enough. Because if you don't have time to write on the details or the detailed algorithms for the treatment, So this was our treatment for strabismus, comitant strabismus, convergent comitant strabismus, convergent manifest squint, or esotropia. This is how these are the investigations which we will do, and this is our treatment. Now, before we go on to the proper management and algorithms, which is SRE, we have to understand a basic concept about squint. ठीक है? Extraocular muscles आपने पढ़े थे? पढ़े थे? मैं पहले पूछ रहा हूँ.
जी
पढ़े थे ना?
जी पढ़े थे.
So you have understood how the different extraocular muscles are innervated, और cases पढ़ी थी आपने, directions of gaze. Okay, there are different directions of gaze. All right. So we said that in comitant squint, the eyes, they maintain their abnormal relation in all directions of squint. So where do you think the problem is in this squint? मसला कहाँ आ रहा है?
मसला एक आंख के फिक्सेशन पॉइंट है.
ठीक है, देखो ना, आंख में है, we have a whole pathway
मसला
of the eye. ठीक है, तो let's say we
तो
discuss this
ब्रेन के
pathway.
लेवल पे बिकॉज़ फ्यूजन से नहीं हो रहा.
Yes,
हाँ, brain.
that is good. आपने एक बात कही, you said that the problem can be at the level of brain. ठीक है? The problem can be at the level of a brain. Brain में क्या मसला हो सकता है? There, because the centers for fusion are inside the brain, right? So number one, in comitant squint, we can have problems in the brain, or there's another place where we can have this issue. Okay, we can have an issue with the input. You have to understand what I'm saying over here. Okay? In comitant squint, the eyes, they maintain their abnormal relation in all directions of gaze. इसका मतलब ये है कि the output from the brain, the output in the form of the extraocular muscles, brain से output जा रहा है to motor nuclei, and they're causing they're innervating the extraocular muscles. That is all normal, because the directions because the relationship is maintained in all directions of gaze. Okay, that means the extraocular muscles are normal and the output from the brain is normal. So there can either be an issue with the input, meaning that the impulses are not properly reaching the eye, improper impulses. Secondly, at the level of the brain, meaning that fusion and binocular vision hasn't developed. These are the two levels at which there can be an issue. Now, input in the form of improper impulses. What do you think can be a cause? Number one, there can be a disease in the eye. For example,
Optic nerve lesion.
Optic nerve lesion. That's good. There can be an optic nerve lesion.
Refractive error.
There can be a refractive error, a large refractive error. That's good. There can be a congenital cataract. Okay. There can be a large, let's say there's a
Corneal opacity.
Corneal opacity. That's good. There's a congenital corneal opacity, or an acquired corneal opacity even. There's which is causing improper impulses. There's a retinoblastoma which is causing some issue. Okay. There can be anything which is causing important disruption in the impulses. And second, so this was our first cause in the etiology, that something is wrong with the input must have. The second is that there is abnormal fusion and binocular vision in the brain, meaning that the input is normal, however, something is wrong inside the brain, meaning that the brain hasn't learned fusion and it hasn't learned binocular vision. This can be due to any central lesion. However, the likelier cause and the commoner cause is that the brain is not able to learn fusion and binocular vision. इसका क्या मतलब है? That जब बच्चे पैदा होते हैं तो they have मतलब two eyes, there are two eyes, they learn to see through their eyes and they slowly learn binocular vision. However, if something is wrong, like we said, a proper problem with the input or inside the brain even, then that fusion and that binocular vision is not learned, and hence one eye is favored over the other, and that is why squint develops. Okay? So these are the two important things. Now, when we discuss convergent squint, Bismus, what do you think will be the symptoms other than this? Complaints of cross eye. Now, this was the symptom given by the mother. Okay. So, what else do you think can a symptom be?
Diplopia.
Diplopia. That's good. Diplopia can be a symptom of squint.
लेकिन
हाँ जी,
बच्चा
बोलो
कैसे
बोलो।
बताएगा?
बच्चा कैसे बताएगा? That is the point. The first symptom or the first thing when the eyes are deviated is diplopia. Okay. When diplopia occurs, one of the eyes is favored. Okay. वो हर किसी में there is a favored eye in all of us. I use my right eye more. Okay. Most usually people use their right eyes more, or they're stronger. जब एक आंख से देखना हो तो बंद करके देखना हो, then the vision in the right eye is stronger. So what happens is that in case of diplopia, when one eye deviates, the favored eye, which is the right eye in this case, okay, that is maintained and that is fixating, and the vision, the double vision, the second vision which is coming from the deviated or the squinting eye, that is psychologically suppressed. Okay, that is psychologically suppressed to such an extent that the vision or the impulses from that eye are ignored. And if they are ignored for a long period of time, then first what happens is that the diplopia, it's absent. Diplopia khatam ho jata hai because this eye is seeing and the other eye, it's not seeing, its vision has been psychologically suppressed.
Nonsense.
And after a while, what happens is that the vision, it decreases in this eye. Meaning that at first there was diplopia, this was 6/6, this was 6/6, this was getting visually suppressed, it became 6/8, 6/10. And after a while, there starts to happen a permanent loss of vision in this eye, this suppressed eye. And that permanent loss of vision, or not permanent loss, but loss of vision, which cannot be explained due to any other reason, is called amblyopia. Okay? Amblyopia is basically decreased visual acuity or decreased visual function without any organic cause or any particular ophthalmoscopic finding. Okay, so this was the response. Okay, what happens is that at the start there is diplopia. लेकिन बच्चा तो diplopia नहीं बता सकता है ना, तो diplopia is not a presenting complaint frequently in this population. The deviating eye is psychologically suppressed, and one eye is the focusing eye. Now, इसकी वजह से important symptoms in this squint are, common squint are, number one, complaint of crossed eye, and the second is loss of binocular vision. जो होता है ये कि that will appear that the person is, या बच्चा चीजें नहीं पकड़ पा रहा है, he is trying to grasp on a thing, लेकिन he cannot appreciate depth. तो उसे नहीं पता कि करीब है, दूर है, sometimes he overreaches, sometimes he underreaches. ठीक है? तो this was a little bit about how squint occurs और क्या है इसकी जो है etiology, pathophysiology.
लेकिन बेसिकली तो इसमें डिप्लोपिया नहीं होता ना?
डिप्लोपिया नहीं होता
इस वाले स्क्विंट में.
इस वाले स्क्विंट में डिप्लोपिया इसलिए नहीं होता क्योंकि the convergent squint, it's usually in younger children, 4 साल के बच्चों में, जिसमें बताया, इसकी जो affected population है, that's younger children, 4 to 8 year olds mostly. And where to start में जब symptoms appear होने start होते हैं at 1.5 years or 2 years of age, the first thing is double vision. However, a child cannot present with the complaint of double vision क्योंकि उसको नहीं, मतलब he cannot, बच्चा है ना, नहीं बता सकता. So what happens is that the vision is suppressed, and only one eye is fixing or one eye is seeing. जो बड़ों में होते हैं, if there is acute esotropia in adults, जो unlikely है, आपको भी एग्जाम में नहीं पूछा जाएगा, and clinically it's also very unlikely कि patient आए. However, if a patient does present with acute comitant esotropia, then he can have diplopia. और acute में है, लेकिन acute diplopia and deviation in an older patient or adult, that आपको इस history से या इस description से you should think non-comitant or paralytic or restrictive splint. ठीक है? Esotropia जब आएगा एग्जाम में भी, so this यही आपकी जो है डेमोग्राफिक होगी. A 4-year-old child, a 4 to 8-year-old child, he will have symptoms of cataract. Now hypermetropia is important over here. We haven't discussed this symptom. Okay, why is hypermetropia important? Why is hypermetropia important? Hypermetropia होता क्या है?
You can see far but not near.
Farsightedness.
ठीक है, farsightedness ना? You cannot see far, you cannot see near. So what happens if you cannot see near? आप दूरी देखते रहोगे, वो तो obvious सी बात है. What will happen if you try to see the objects which are near?
ब्लर हो जाएंगे.
Accommodation.
चलो, accommodation. What is accommodation now? Hypermetropia में क्या होता है? Hypermetropia में बिल्कुल accommodation converge करने की कोशिश करता है. That's good. Now जो मैं पूछना चाह रहा हूँ कि in hypermetropia, if this is our eyeball, जो बड़ी गंदी सी बन रही है, and somewhere around the middle is the lens. Let's use a triangle to make the lens. This is the lens. Disregarding here, this is not the actual anatomy of the lens. The rays and this edge is the edge of the retina. In hypermetropia, the rays, they will focus behind the retina or they will focus in front?
Behind retina. Behind.
कहाँ होती है?
In front होती है.
पक्की बात है. The rays, they focus behind the retina.
Behind the retina.
जो myopia होता है, उसमें they focus in front of the retina. ठीक है? इसीलिए myopia में we use convex lens, concave lenses. Concave lenses क्या कहते हैं? They diverge. Diverge कहते हैं ना? Myopia में आगे focus हो रही होती हैं. जब concave lenses देते हैं, that diverges and they fall on the retina. And that is why in hypermetropia we prescribe convex lenses. Convex lenses so that the power is increased and they focus towards the front. पीछे की तरफ ना जाए.
मतलब इसमें weak lens होता है.
Yes, weak lens नहीं होता. हमने start में discuss किया था. The eyeball is smaller compared to the lens.
ठीक है.
ठीक है, the lens is formed more or less at its dull size. However, the eyeball is smaller and the eyeball will grow with age. That is why children are hypermetropic usually. बच्चे होते हैं hypermetropic होते हैं. Now, if the person is not able, so these are the rays which are falling behind the retina in this case. So if a person if the child or if the person wants to see what is close to him, जो नहीं देख सकता, he will try convergence and he will try accommodating. What will accommodation do? Accommodation will increase.
Lens को.
Yes, it will increase the strength of the lens.
Power.
It will increase the power of the lens. And by increasing the power of the lens, what will happen is that the rays, they will converge.
Rays converge
on the retina. Okay? Now, accommodation is one part of the reflex when a person is trying to see the objects which are near to him. What is this reflex called? जब एक बंदा जो है ना ऑब्जेक्ट जो उसके करीब है उसको देखना चाह रहा है.
Convergence and
now one part. तीन चीजें होती हैं बिल्कुल. It's the near reflex.
Pupillary near reflex.
Yes, ठीक है. It's the near reflex. Near reflex में जो तीन चीजें होती हैं, they are number 1, pupillary constriction, number 2, accommodation.
Accommodation.
Number three is
Convergence.
Convergence.
convergence. That is the most important thing in our case. That's why hypermetropia is important in. What happens that when a young child or 4-year-old has hypermetropia and he's not able to see the objects which are close to him, he will reflexively use his because the term reflex is used. He will have a near reflex, okay, in which his lens will be accommodated so that he can see objects which are close to him. आपने बिल्कुल सामने चीजें देख सकेगा. That will cause pupillary constriction, but that will also cause convergence. ठीक है? Convergence क्या है? This is convergence in one eye. ठीक है? मतलब the eyes, they both will go inwards, and after a while, due to excessive convergence, this child, he will first develop an intermittent. He may develop aphoria. यानी कि जब उसकी आंखें बहुत ज़्यादा थक जाएं, तब उसमें deviation आ जाए. After a while, he will develop intermittent esotropia, meaning that the esotropia is fixed, however it's temporary. थोड़ी देर के लिए होता है. रात को हो गया, लेकिन पक्का नोटिस हो गया. सुबह उठा नहीं था. फिर सारा दिन उसने कोशिश की. He accommodated. He tried to look at things close to him. फिर हो गया. And after that, it will become constant. Okay? So this constant convergence, this constant accommodation is important. It is necessary. Okay? It is the main causes of esotropia, one of the main causes of esotropia. And that is why esotropia is divided into 3 types, or it has 3 classifications or 3 types, esotropia. Okay? One is, इन्हें नाम पढ़े इनके? लगता है. चलो. Now, one is depend. हमने अभी बात की accommodation की. So one is accommodative. One is accommodative esotropia. तो इसी तरह एक और हो सकता है which is non-accommodative. आपको मैं लिख देता हूँ. And the last type is a mixed type. ठीक है? Partially accommodative. इससे आपको क्या पता चल रहा है? These 3 classifications of esotropia, only 3 classifications, meaning that esotropia is mostly caused by accommodation. Okay? And that accommodation can be either a complete cause of esotropia, it can be a partial cause of esotropia, or the esotropia can be unrelated to accommodation and it can have another cause. Okay? So, again, आपको relation समझ आ कि how hypermetropia can cause esotropia. Do you understand this? This is very important. कि how hypermetropia. थोड़ा दोबारा मैं एक बार repeat कर देता हूँ. In hypermetropia, the rays, they are focusing behind the retina. ठीक है? These light rays, मैंने गंदी से draw की मैं, they're focusing behind the retina. In order to make these light rays fall on the retina, the person uses accommodation. Accommodation is an increase in the power of the lens by contracting the ciliary muscles. What happens is that when this accommodation occurs, it occurs as a part of the near reflex. ठीक है? Accommodation near reflex का हिस्सा है. ये नहीं होती. अब near reflex में 3 चीजें आती हैं. One is accommodation, जो हमने बात की. The other is pupillary constriction. The third is convergence, कि दोनों आंखें दरमियान में देखती हैं. तो जब excessive convergence, तो convergence का मतलब है कि eyes they are looking in, मतलब they are getting towards each other, center. ज़्यादा nasal आ रही है, जिस तरह ये वाली आंख आ रही है. So what happens is that after a while, if there is excessive convergence, so when the person is looking at objects close to him, दोनों आंखें अंदर deviate हो जाएंगी ना. लेकिन एक वक्त के बाद ये होगा कि when he's even not looking at objects close to him, one eye will still remain deviated towards the inside, क्योंकि उसमें convergence हो रही होगी, even when subconsciously, क्योंकि वो इतनी ज़्यादा आदत हो गई. The child has learned to see through convergence and accommodation. यानी कि he can क्योंकि उसको तो समझ नहीं आ रही ना, he is doing and everything he can to see clearly जो objects उसके करीब हैं. So when he learns accommodation, जब उसको पता लग गया कि I can through using accommodation, using the near reflex, I can look at things or objects which are close to me. So he constantly uses accommodation, and after a while that becomes fixed, and one of the eyes becomes deviated even when convergence or accommodation is not being used. That is how hypermetropia can cause esotropia, and that is why esotropia.
तो ये generally जो less dominant eye है वो होगी.
Yes, the
जैसे
less
भी हमने
dominant
बात.
है. बिल्कुल.
ठीक.
अब होता ये कि one of the eyes is naturally dominant. तो अब the brain जब whenever there is a diplopia, अब हमें तो पेशेंट नहीं बता सकते ना अपनी उम्र की वजह से कि there is a diplopia. तो the innate response या psychological response to diplopia is that the vision from the deviating eye is suppressed. दोनों में से किसी एक आंख में से जब स्टार्ट हो रहा होगा विजन सप्रेस हो जाएगा, और जिस आंख से विजन सप्रेस होना शुरू हो जाएगा उसकी डेविएशन भी बढ़ना शुरू हो जाएगी, because that eye is not being used for focusing, and that goes on until one eye is completely established as the fixating eye and the other eye is the deviating or the squinting eye. Okay, so meaning that it starts normally, but after a while एक आंख one eye is fixing and the other eye isn't, and that is established. वक्त के साथ that eye it completely deviates. So these were the three types of esotropia.
तो non-accommodative में क्या होता है?
Non-accommodative में reasons other than esotropia, hypermetropia and accommodation are the cause. There can be an innate error. दिमाग में कोई मसला हो सकता है, for example, anything of the sort. मतलब इसको इस classification का मतलब क्या है? You have to realize how important hypermetropia and accommodation are for this disease. उसकी वजह से ही classification पूरी
मतलब non-accommodative में हम nerve palsy या वो वाली include कर सकते हैं?
नहीं वो नहीं कह सकते, because they don't fall under the category of esotropia. वो तो non-accommodative है ना, nerve palsy, because the direction is non-accommodative में ये है कि innate fusion error किसी भी वजह से हो सकता है. मतलब there are a lot of diseases of the brain.
मतलब the primary cause was not the overuse of accommodation.
Yes, exactly.
कुछ और था.
Exactly. और इसकी significance क्या है? We discussed optical correction, right? So if the primary cause is accommodation and hypermetropia, if we do optical correction, that means that the squint can be corrected by using optical correction. ऐसे ही है ना? But in non-accommodative, if the accommodation and hypermetropia are not the cause, then a optical correction is of no value. ठीक है? उन 3 types में.
लेकिन ये आप जज कैसे करेंगे कि अकोमोडेटिव था या नॉन अकोमोडेटिव? मतलब बच्चा तो नहीं खुद बता सकता ये बात.
बिल्कुल नहीं, हिस्ट्री पे भी आप जज नहीं कर सकते. बच्चा आपको नहीं बताएगा कि इट्स नॉन अकोमोडेटिव और इट्स नॉन अकोमोडेटिव. हमें इस तरह पता चलेगा, करेक्शन से पता चलेगा. यस, व्हेन वी आर डूइंग दीस टेस्ट्स अबव द प्रिज्म बार टेस्ट, जिसमें हमें डेविएशन का पता लगता है और बाकी चीजें टेस्ट में पता लगती है. मैं आगे आपको बताता हूँ, टाइम इसमें थोड़ा खत्म हो रहा है. जब हम एल्गोरिथम करेंगे इसी के बाद एक और सेशन में स्टार्ट करूंगा. आपको बच्चा नहीं बता सकता कि अकोमोडेशन हो सकती है ना, लेकिन जब हम उसकी साइक्लोपीजिक रिफ्रैक्शन करेंगे यूजिंग साइक्लोपीजिया and the visual acuity in the cyclopedia using the retinoscope, we will see that there is no refractive error to cause that squint. ठीक है, हमने वैसे डिस्कस की ना कि children are hypermetropic, that hypermetropia decreases with age और eyes normal हो जाती है around 7 to 8 years. So the normal hypermetropia around a given age, we know that. And if there is a refractive error, if there is a further hypermetropia, let's say 5 or 6, and we know that 5 or 6 hypermetropia is not common in children around 4 years of age, and that hypermetropia is evident on an objective test such as retinoscopy. That means that the squint is due to this hypermetropia. It's either accommodative or partially accommodative. ठीक है, अगर retinoscopy पे there is no visual acuity is normal for that age, there is no refractive error, no hypermetropia, yet the eyes are still deviating and still squinting. It means that the refractive error, there is no refractive error and it is unrelated to visual acuity. ठीक है, तो हमें इन टेस्ट पे पता चलेगा, and that is how we will guide the treatment. क्योंकि in our treatment जो accommodative squint है, if we decrease the accommodation or completely reduce it, then we can correct the squint. That is the important thing. So अभी हम इसके दोबारा से जो ये इतनी ज़्यादा हमने different चीज़ें discuss कर दी हैं, let's arrange all of this. So a patient comes to you with hypermetropia. Sorry, this same condition. Okay, what will be your first thing you wish we will do? दोबारा से.
Examination is visual acuity.
Visual acuity, yes, that's right. Based on this history, this brief history, and this initial clinical evaluation, the first thing you will do is you will have his visual acuity done. Okay? Number one, visual acuity. What else can we do immediately?
Cycloplegia or refraction.
ठीक है, that's वो हमने अंदर ही डाल दिया इसके अंदर. Refraction sorts. Cycloplegic. That's good. किसी की कुछ आवाज आई थी.
फिर हम फंडोस्कोपी करेंगे, disease check करेंगे.
Ocular disease check करने के we will see that if there is an ocular exam, we will perform an ocular examination, ophthalmoscopy and और हम क्या करेंगे? There's one more thing that we will do before we go on to the dedicated examination of squint.
Extraocular
Hershey
Eye movements करेंगे.
movements करा.
इन तीन चीजों से, इन तीन टेस्ट से हमें क्या पता चलेगा? Number one, whether the visual acuity is responsible for any of the disease, any of this. Does it have a part? Number two, are the impulses going to the retina, are they normal? Is there anything wrong with the afferents or the inputs? ये तो चीजें आपको ये judge करेंगी. Thirdly, eye movements, whether the squint which is appearing as manifest, is it comitant or is it non-comitant? ठीक है?
friends का पता लगेगा.
Bilkul. So based on these three initial examinations, we find out that our patient has, number one, hypermetropia. He has an hypermetropia of, let's say, around 60. Okay. Ophthalmoscopy and fundoscopy of this patient is, for our president says, it's normal. Okay. And on eye movements, we found out that this patient eye movements are normal, and if the eye movements are normal, the squint is
Comitant.
The squint is comitant. So this was your initial evaluation or initial judgment of this patient. What else will you do? अब आगे आप क्या करोगे?
Hirschberg.
Hirschberg से पहले भी कुछ करो है कि नहीं?
Cover and cover.
Cover and cover is a very important test. It's the most important test in describing the disease. और Hirschberg cover से पहले करेंगे. Hirschberg से पहले आप कुछ करेंगे? नहीं करेंगे. ठीक है? So after eye movements, after performing these tests, the first test that you will do is the Hirschberg's test. ठीक है? Hirschberg's test में लिखो. Hirschberg's में क्या करेंगे आप? Because spelling मसला हो जाता है. What will we find out in the Hirschberg's test?
Angle.
Angle.
Angle of deviation.
Okay, so we will find out the angle of deviation. What else will we find out in the Hirschberg's test? और क्या पता लगा?
Corneal reflex normal है या नहीं? दोनों है इसमें.
नहीं, इतना उसका तो यूज नहीं है. मतलब you can say that one of the things important over here is that a person can have an apparent squint. Apparent squint का concept आपको याद है? हमने थोड़ी देर पहले डिस्कस किया था in one of our lectures, epicanthus.
Yes.
Epicanthus में, whenever the person has epicantral skin folds, so it can appear that he has squint. However, if the corneal reflexes are normal and there is no angle of deviation, it's 0. So that tells us that this person does not have an apparent, he does not have a squint. This is just an apparent squint due to epicanthus. ठीक है, तो ये हमें Hirschberg stress से पता लगता है. Epicanthal folds मैं आपको दिखा देता हूँ. देखो, this in this case, this time ये बच्चा है. You can see this image. He has a flat nasal bridge and he has epicanthal folds. So on examination, this is appearing kiski right eye, it's deviated inwards.
Right eye inward.
But it's not inwards. It is not inwards. Look at the corneal reflexes.
Okay.
Okay? Corneal reflexes are centered. The Hirschberg is centered, which means that this is an apparent squint. ये बच्चा थोड़ा सा लेफ्ट की तरफ देख रहा है and the cornea is hidden by this large epicanthal fold. That's why we cannot, we think that there's a right esotropia. The eye is deviated inwards. However, on Hirschberg's test, we can clearly see that the corneal reflex is centered in this eye and also in this eye, which means that this is a apparent squint or a pseudo squint, which we have differentiated on the Hirschberg's test. Hirschberg's test हमने कर लिया. After Hirschberg's test, what will we do?
Cover and cover.
Cover and cover.
ठीक है. Cover and cover test आपने उसकी वीडियोस देखी थी? Cover and cover की?
जी.
देखी थी.
So on the cover, basis on the cover of cover and test, let's say we performed that test and we found out that our patient in fact has comitant esotropia. Okay, so this was the algorithm which you need to diagnose. Yes. आपको जब पता लग गया, you performed the cover and cover test, you found out that yes, on the cover and cover test we have found out that this patient has esotropia. Confirmed. So this is how you will establish your diagnosis of esotropia. यही management है जो आपने paper में भी लिखनी है. This is important, not only clinically but also in your examination. Whenever a patient is presented to you, how will you manage this patient? First, you will perform cycloplegic refraction, to rule out refractive errors, ophthalmoscopy and fundoscopy to rule out any stimulus deprivation,